What if Pokemon Sword and Shield had a third DLC that brought back all the missing Pokemon and added in a few new mythicals? Well, a rumor from last year has been right up to this point. Will it be right again? Let's take a look.
Butterfree, go!
Yo, whoa, what is going on YouTube? It's your boy Dan, aka aDrive. I'm bringing you guys a brand new rumor video today, but also some news, Pokemon shenanigans, pretty much everything going on in the Pokemon world. So if you enjoy these videos, be sure to hit that like button down below and subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. We're closing in on 1 million subscribers, and I appreciate all the love from the aDrive army. You guys have been amazing. So be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on our epic Pokemon content. Now, without further ado, let's jump into it. We've got Nintendo Switch, all sorts of stuff. Let's do it. So as I mentioned, there's been a lot of whispers, a lot of talks about a brand new Nintendo Switch, Switch Pro, new Switch, whatever they're gonna call it. We know it's gonna have a 4K OLED display, which is gonna be pretty cool. But what we know now is through Bloomberg and other financial reporting outlets is that they actually plan to adopt the NVIDIA chip, which is gonna add better graphics and processing for this upgraded Switch model planned for potential Q4 or year-end shopping season. Now, one thing that they mention here is that this new processing chip is going to actually be more for new games, not games that are currently released. This is more about upcoming titles, and there just so happens to be a Pokemon game coming out Q1 next year that would be very, very beneficial to this 4K display. Pokemon Legends Arceus. So don't be surprised if we see some sort of a holiday bundle or something like that coming out with the launch of the new game, or maybe even with Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl. But either way, new Switch, Switch Pro, the rumors probably true. Seems like we're getting it at the end of the year. Now we're gonna take a look at a rumor from 2020, and this is actually crazy because we're talking about a year ago, and this person actually accurately predicted a few different things, so we want to take a look at it because it is worthwhile. So this person says, I'm going to talk about a couple things for the next few minutes. Sword and Shield, here's coming to the next couple games. 2020, Sword and Shield DLC 1 and 2 with 200 mons added. Now mind you, this post was actually after the announcement of the DLCs, so that doesn't really mean a whole lot. Then it says 2021 Diamond and Pearl Remakes. It is a simple remake. This will not replace Sword and Shield. It's going to be the Sinnoh Dex plus about 100 more Pokemon. So this is saying it's a simple remake for DPP, which is proven to be true. Could have been a lucky guess, right? But ultimately, I'm with it. And then it talks about the fact that they're going to not replace Sword and Shield. It's going to be the Sinnoh Dex and then a few extra Pokemon. Very interesting. Some things we still don't know yet, but an interesting point. Then we talk about 2021 Sword and Shield DLC 3, releasing the rest of the missing Pokemon and 3 new mythicals. And when we think about the previous 2 DLCs, Olive Armor and Crown Tundra, they did indeed add new legendary mythical Pokemon like Kubfu, Urshifu, like Calyrex, and the Steeds. So this is pretty interesting, and it actually brings up a couple things that come to mind for me, and that is the competitive circuit. You might think, why would they bring back new stuff for Sword and Shield DLC 3 when we know Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl coming out? And competitive is my very simple answer. It doesn't look as though Sinnoh Remakes Diamond and Pearl are going to be a competitively natured game, and the Pokemon world is going to continue with these events. In fact, they moved the World Championships next year to London. So it's supposed to be London last year, and then it was supposed to be this year, and now it's going to be next year, and London just happens to be what Galar is based off of. But aside from that, Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee's competitive circuit didn't exist because they kept it in the previous game on Sun and Moon, or Ultra Sun and Moon rather. So it would be really, really interesting for them to release a handful of new Pokemon back into the decks, or old Pokemon back into Sword and Shield, release a couple other Pokemon, and completely shake up the metagame one more time for kind of the final run of Sword and Shield from a competitive perspective. And it would seem such a big step backwards from a marketing perspective to go from Sword and Shield competitive being these Dynamax Pokemon and these elaborate stadiums to this chibi art style as your main competitive game. That doesn't make a lot of sense to me, and it seems as though that's not going to be the case. So I'd be willing to bet that regardless of this rumor being true, that Sword and Shield is the main kind of focus for competitive play as we move forward once the pandemic kind of comes to a resolution. But ultimately, a third DLC would make so much sense in that equation, considering everything else we've talked about. Now you might say, well, why did they not discuss the DLC at the Pokemon Presents earlier this year in February? And I have some pretty easy examples to show you why that might not have been the case. We look at things like Pokemon Unite, which is just got out of beta in Canada. It's gonna be releasing at some point. They didn't talk about that at all during the Presents. And it's one of their main games that's coming out this year for the mobile platform, the MOBA style Pokemon Unite game, which I'm excited about. We're gonna give it a fair shot. No mention of Pokemon Sleep, which was mentioned last year, or maybe it was 2 years ago. Sleep hasn't been talked about at all, but we're expecting it to come out at some point. And then there was no mention of Detective Pikachu. And if we look at an article from 2019, it was confirmed in Tokyo that the CEO of Pokemon Company and the president Ishihara said that there was going to be a follow-up to the original Detective Pikachu game, which I think we're at like an anniversary right now where it came out X amount of years ago. I don't know off the top of my head, but either way, the new Detective Pikachu game was going to be coming to the Switch, so it would make sense for it to come out during the 25th year anniversary of the Pokemon franchise, I would imagine, but we'll have to wait and see. So I'm just saying, it's possible that they wanted to focus on things like Snap, they wanted to focus on kind of the big launches, the Brilliant Diamond, the Legends Arceus games, and then throw a DLC at us in the middle of the year to really catch everyone off guard, to really get Sword and Shield bumping again, get that game, get some hype, because I do feel like there's still some life left in it, and a new DLC could actually inject quite a bit of life back into Pokemon Sword and Shield. So I really do think there's some possibilities here. I really do think that this is a feasible idea. So I actually turn to you guys. What would you guys think about a third DLC for Sword and Shield? We've obviously got the Isle of Armor, we've got the Crown Tundra, and then we talk about a third DLC adding in those missing Pokemon. And we've got this great article here that actually breaks out all the missing Pokemon from each generation. So when we look at Generation 1, there's very few things missing, like Beedrill and Pidgeot, Raticate, Fearow, Arbok, Parasect, right? Some bug types, Golem, right? Alolan Golem, Electrode, stuff like that. Things that could potentially shake up a metagame. Well, nothing too crazy in Gen 1 that I'm seeing. In Gen 2, you think about the starters, obviously, like a Feraligatr, stuff like that. Some Pokemon like Forretress, pretty solid. Houndoom, Donphan, Smeargle, obviously, the big one. Then we look at Generation 3. There's a handful of Pokemon. Medicham, Camerupt. You know, some of the legendaries like Deoxys, of course, hasn't been back into the game. So Viper, Zangoose, I mean, a lot of these Pokemon are not really that crazy in terms of the metagame. Big Generation 4 missing, though. We talk about the starters in Gen 4. There's so many Mons in Gen 4 missing. It's kind of crazy. And obviously those legendaries like Darkrai, Shaman, etc. Gen 5, you got the starters missing again. And then a handful of other Pokemon like Meloetta, Leavanny, the Simmies, you know, those Pokemon. And then X and Y, there's Pokemon, obviously, like, you know, the starters again. Greninja could be a huge Pokemon in the Dynamax metagame. Florges, another really solid fairy Pokemon. Alola's missing a handful of Pokemon too, like Minior, Toucannon, Crabominable. Nothing too insane, but ultimately there's still 231 Pokemon missing according to this Game Rant article from the Sword and Shield roster. So for them to add a third DLC and throw a bunch of those Pokemon back in, sprinkle in a few mythical Pokemon, maybe a couple little game modes or something that would keep people entertained for a little bit and just give a little bit of lifeblood back to Sword and Shield to carry it to the competitive circuit for next year, I could see it happening, and it's not that crazy, honestly. And did this person predict that last year? I don't know. Maybe it's coincidence, maybe not. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about the potential of a third DLC for Sword and Shield. It was something we talked about, and then we didn't think was going to happen, and now I do wonder if it's going to happen. Very interesting stuff, guys. Smash that like button if you guys enjoyed. Subscribe to the channel if you guys are new, and I hope you guys are excited for the new Nintendo Switch. I just got a new one, so now I got to get another new one at the end of the year. What are you going to do? Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you on the next one. Peace. If you guys enjoyed this video, check out this one right here. Otherwise, you should totally check out this video. They're both awesome, you're pretty awesome, and I'll see you guys on the next one.